going back in time, it's very, very hard to capture the heaviness and the weight of what was experiencing the day after January 6th, the days after January 6th. And that's the new day one, by the way. The new day one is not, oh, were you there at the golden escalator? The new day one is, did you have President Trump's back the day after January 6th? Did you still support him? Did you understand this movement was unbreakable? It would have been so easy for you to surrender. We had the tech companies against us, the major banks against us, the oligarchs against us, every major billionaire against us. You could not even find a lawyer to represent you. I've actually never talked about this publicly. I was subpoenaed by the January 6th committee. I had to go through 10 different lawyers. 10 different lawyers before one agreed to represent me. 10. They said, oh, no, we decided not to represent any clients that were involved in January 6th. I wasn't involved in January 6th. I was in Arizona on January 6th. They said, too bad. To understand this, that these people are willing to go represent cartels and drug smugglers and child sex traffickers, and I went through 10 different law firms. I spent all day when I found out that this whole thing was going to turn into a committee, like a day and a half, going from one Zoom call to the next, trying to get a lawyer to represent me. Sorry, no. Sorry, no. Sorry, no. Even after I told them all the facts and circumstances, it was the legal community was so against representing in the Trump orbit because Trump people in the Trump world were viewed as insurrectionists. Front page of thehill.com. Who is Liz Peek, by the way? Never should be taken seriously again. Front page, Trump's political career is over. And just like that, the bold, combustible, and sometimes brilliant political career of Donald J. Trump comes to an end. Trump's presidency will now go down as a experiment, a cautionary tale about the cult of personality and the riskiness of electing an outsider. It is a tragedy. It is a tragedy because, among other accomplishments, Trump inspired and mobilized tens and thousands of people. Is Liz Peek always on Fox? What a joke she is. Can we tweet at her? It's just disgusting. I mean, these people need to be held accountable. I'm sure she's trying to worm herself back into the inauguration. Can I get tickets to this ball? No, Liz Peek, you don't get tickets to that ball, okay? Sorry. You said that Trump's political career is over. She says here in her piece, very bluntly, there will be a core group of loyal Trump supporters that make excuses for the events of January 6th. The numbers will shrink as he leaves office, and enthusiasm for his ongoing leadership of the Republican Party will decline, Liz Peek writes. There are plenty of GOP legislators eager to fill his shoes. Those folks will do their best to hasten Trump's decline. This is the intelligentsia, by the way, she's a Republican. This was the intelligentsia of the Republican Party being taken seriously by the Wall Street Journal. And what happened next was a deep state attempt to intimidate and demoralize our movement. We didn't know whether or not all of a sudden our office was going to be filled with dark-looking SUVs and a bunch of people with purple hair with FBI vests coming in and taking all of our devices. We didn't know. They saw their shot, and boy, did they go for it. Thousands of people indicted. Thousands of people indicted. To set the table, to try and eliminate the MAGA movement, to eliminate our movement. And it turns out we're a lot tougher than that because we are not a movement that just, we're passively involved. It made us anti-fragile. It's a term I've used many times. In fact, I gave the first speech about anti-fragility back in February of 2021. The doctrine of anti-fragility, as authored by Nassim Taleb in his book Anti-Fragile, is that there are fragile institutions, those that shatter. There are tough institutions, those that do not shatter. And then there are anti-fragile institutions, those that get stronger the more you attack them. That they actually grow in their resolve. They get tougher the more that you throw at them, the more that you punch them, the more that you criticize them, the more that you smear them, the more that you slander. And Donald Trump was up against the wall, the likes of which no political candidate ever would. Indicted in 4 different jurisdictions, facing 700 years in federal prison. And many of your friends and my friends were in federal prison or facing federal prison time. The whole regime was just surrounding us. And we beat them. It's one of the most remarkable comeback stories ever. This January 6, 2025, we're in charge and the regime lost.